आपने मास्क क्यों नहीं लगाया?
Vivek, we can start.
Yeah. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's virtual roundtable on technology trends transforming roads and highways landscape. I am Vivek Ramesh, Senior Technical Specialist for Civil Infrastructure from Autodesk. So I shall be your moderator for today. It is estimated that infrastructure project spends will cross $3 trillion worldwide by 2030, which includes sectors such as transportation, water, and landscape. The lion's share for this will belong to that of the roads and highway sector. In India as well, the scenario is no different, with the prime focus being the roads and highway sector. Just to set the context, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways is planning to develop 60,000 kilometers of roads in the next 5 years alone. So this amounts to an estimated 40 kilometers of roads to be built every single day. So this is an immense task for nodal agencies, for design consultants and contractors to get to execute such a massive initiative effectively. So let us understand from the industry leaders themselves as how they are leveraging latest tools and technologies to deliver projects on time and on budget. So let me welcome our panelists for today. From the government side, we have Mr. Akhilesh Srivastav, Chief General Manager, Highway Operations and IT, National Highways Authority of India, and Mr. S.J. Vijayadas, Chief Project Examiner, Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board. And from the design and construction side, we have Ms. Anaya Bobe, General Manager, Transportation, TPF Engineering, and Mr. Suryakanta Kabi, Manager, BIM and Digital Transformation from L&T Transportation Infrastructure. I'm sure this is going to be a wholesome experience for our audience. I request the audience to keep posting your questions in the Q&A during the course of the presentation or the webinar. As many questions as possible at the end of the session as well. So there will also be a short survey to the end of the session. I request the audience to participate in that as well effectively. So firstly, let me also thank all the panelists and the attendees on today's call to have accepted the invite in such trying times of COVID. I trust, hope all of your near and dear ones are safe. So with that, let's dive right in. My first question is for Mr. Akhilesh Srivastav, sorry. Sir, what are the key projects which are underway to transform the road and highway sector in India? And I would also like to ask, what are the biggest hurdles that you foresee to deliver these projects on time and on budget? And how do you see technology playing a part in succeeding in such key projects? Akhilesh, sir.
Very good morning, Vivek, and very good morning to all my co-panelists, the audience who are watching. It's indeed, as you rightly said, it's a very tiring time. The country is suffering through an unforeseen and something unparalleled kind of pandemic. The negativity is spreading. In these scenarios, you're coming up with a very good topic that what is the future of enterprise structure? It's something like ringing a bell in the already pessimistic mindset of the people. So it's a pleasure to be talking here. And let me tell you to the audience and the thing, Vivek has very rightly said, the infrastructure is the key it's going to be the key driver for the economy anywhere in the world. You must have recently heard that now US president has announced 2 trillion investment in the revamping of the old infrastructure, which they built something between in fourth, fifth, and sixth decade. I mean, last century. But now they are revamping it. That's the similarly you see the European Union and of we are still developing the infrastructure to that level and doing a lot into that. Considering these things, the government is also primarily focusing on it. And in recent budget announcement, you must have heard that 120 lakh crore rupees has been earmarked for the infrastructure projects in next to be spent in next 3 years, 3.5 years now. That's the massive. It's almost 2 trillion US dollar being spent in less than 4 years in infrastructure. That's the magnitude. There's the volume which is going to be, and so that's the driver. The government thinks also, the people also perceive that there's going to be the biggest driver to drive the economy, bring it out of the saddles of COVID pandemic, which we suffered last year, and second wave is still on. But there's the now, considering the out of this 120 lakh crore infrastructure spending, which government is earmarking, we call it national infrastructure pipeline projects. That includes the highway projects, that include the railway projects, various airports, various seaports, inland waterways, metros, and so many things. The complete list is exhaustive, which has been identified by NITI in consultation with NITI Aayog, and Ministry of Finance is monitoring it very aggressively. And almost every, you'll be surprised to know, every 15 days, the meeting of this NIP projects are chaired by Finance Minister herself. And so all the departments are running to complete these projects, or at least finalize the DPRs, because many are in the primary stage of planning and all. Out of this 120, the biggest chunk, as rightly said by Vivek, goes to the road highway sector. And our performance in last 6 years has been relatively, I can say, better if we compare with the other sectors. We could achieve almost 37 kilometer construction of highway last year. I mean, the year just closed 31st March 2021. In the last year, we constructed more than 16,000 kilometers of national highways. And when we call this 16,000 kilometers, this includes not only the two-way national highways. It includes 4-lane highways, includes 8-lane highways, it includes 6-lane highways, expressways. So that's complete. So the per kilometer, if you say lane kilometer, probably we might have crossed 50 kilometer a day. And the totality. So we has been, and our under the directions of Honorable Minister Road Transport and Highways, and of course led by the PMO, the major spending has been on this. Last year we spent something around 130 lakh crore was spent by the Ministry of Road Transport Highways itself, constructing so much kilometer of highways. So there is an immense potential. A lot of things are doing. The major projects which are likely to come up in next 3 to 4 years are first, audience may be aware that we are having the major project which we call now is a umbrella project, Bharat Mala. Earlier, there used to be NHDP program schemes, 1, 2, 3, like this. First was the Golden Quadrilateral, then we had the connecting roads, then we had north, south, east, west corridors, and then the ring roads around the city. So this is how it was earlier moving, but now they all have been merged into an umbrella program called Bharat Mala. So this is the biggest thing, and that consists of all the highways, which is already existing, has to be widened. Like 4-lane has to widen into 6 lanes, 6-lane has to widen into 8-lane, or some new green corridors to be made. So one of the most talked highway which we are making is the Delhi Mumbai Green Corridor Expressway. This is a 8-lane expressway. Vivek, if I'm exceeding time, please.
Sure, sir. I will let you know, sir.
So There's the 8-lane express highway, which will reduce the distance between Delhi to Mumbai something around 1200 kilometers, 1230 kilometers approximately, and the travel time will be less than 12 hours for a vehicle. So in I mean, somebody starts in the evening, morning is there, or morning you start in the evening, you are in Mumbai from Delhi. That's the convenience. 8-lane highway, 4-lane on either side, going through a green field, totally new land. So these highways, so highways not only provide the facility to the commuters, but they are the driver for the economy. Your logistics cost goes down. A lot of factories, a lot of economic activities come along the highways. That's the beauty. So it increases the multiplier effect of highway project on economy is much higher than any other projects. And it is a door-to-door kind of thing. For example, in railways, though it's providing a lot of corridors for freight movement, but generally you find it, unless until it is made Ro-Ro kind of thing, it doesn't pick up the thing, because it has to be brought into the trucks to the railway station, then it is to be loaded in a train, then offloaded and transferred. But here in highways, it door to door in most of the cases.
Sure,
So,
sir. Sir,
yeah.
and I would also like to know briefly as to how
Yeah,
technology
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah. I'm
playing a
just
big
coming to
part.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm just coming. So what the new projects which we are making, very important projects, you asked me, are these 23 expressways. The green, these are the access control expressways, where the speed will be 120 kilometers per hour for the passenger vehicles, and the commercials will be around 80 kilometers per. So they are going to transform the highway structure in India, and they will transform the economy as well. The corridors are dedicated freight corridor kind of thing. For example, another is from Amritsar to port in Gujarat. That will bring all the fruits and everything from Himachal and Punjab side directly to the port in Gujarat. So these are the very some key projects. Now, how technology is transforming to the infrastructure, that's a very, very relevant question you ask, and it must be properly discussed, because I will share some of the examples which we did in NHAI. The if we see the Ministry of Statistics data which is available on their website, majority of mega projects lag behind the time, or they are over delayed. There is a cost overrun. So in this scenario, if we are going to spend 120 lakh crore in infrastructure, what are the what precautions we are taking not to go into on the same path to avoid these time and cost overrun? So here technology plays a very, very crucial role. For example, I can cite NHAI. We are now using the IoT devices at all the project sites. Yeah, and these IoT devices, like when we do survey, we use LiDAR. We are using the drone to monitor the progress of projects. We are using satellite imagery to superimpose and find out using some AI algorithm what is the actual progress. Our major equipments are GPS enabled. So when they start working or at the site, those data are available to us. Then we are using many project monitoring softwares to actually understand how many manpower is required and where are we and how. And finally, all these we in NHI we converged into a data lake. That's the AI-based cloud platform where all our contractor, concessionaire, project field officers, and headquarter are aligned, and the decisions are taken on the portal itself. And that's the reason, in spite of COVID, we could beat our previous record. We constructed the highest number of lane kilometer this year than in last, highest ever. We avoided the highest number of projects this year. So next year, our spending is going to be something around 170 lakh crore, 20% up. So the technology is a biggest thing to stop this thing. Otherwise, if you simply start spending in infrastructure in a vanilla way without these out-of-box thinking, it's not going to lead to anywhere. So
Sure,
technology
sir.
is a great enabler. Yes.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. In fact, it's a phenomenal task to achieve such milestones. Thank you for your insight. And just speaking about technology and leveraging technology, we have one other organization, a corporate body from Kerala, KIFBI, which is great, doing great, projects, which is taking up great projects as well. So my second question would be to Mr. Vijay Das. Vijay Das, sir, KIFBI was one of the first government agencies to mandate BIM for all its projects, right, sir? So what prompted this move, and how do you envisage this to impact the outcome of the projects?
Good morning all, I'm Vijay Das. I'm working as Chief Project Examiner, and primarily my responsibility is to ensure quality and timeframes in project execution. Whereas KIFBI is an organization responsible for raising funds and making funds timely available to various SPVs. The SPVs are different in our context. They are project execution organizations under state government. Various like Public Works Department is acting as one of the SPV. So we are arranging funds for this organization and ensuring that the projects are delivered with full standards and quality and time frames. So why BIM is made mandatory is due to a specific reason. In state government projects, what we have found was there is a major issue of incomplete engineering, where the projects have been awarded without developing the full detailed engineering documents, and during the execution several problems rises, and it leads to risk of execution and as well as quality related matters. Second thing is about how to monitor such large number of projects. About 300 to 400 road projects are being funded by KIFBI and being executed in various parts of Kerala and by various organizations. So in order to have a digital images, some sort of a digital support is required to manage these projects by monitoring the quality as well as progress. And third thing is about being a fund releasing organization. We have to randomly examine the quantum of work executed without even going to the site. So an updated digital model supplied frequently from the field units will help us in evaluating whether the works are really done, or whether works are done as per the plans, whether the works are done as per the direction issued by various instances. So these are the three reasons we have made BIM as a mandatory tool in various phases of project planning, execution, implementation, quality monitoring, and now we are extending it to the sustainability aspects also.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And we also know that KIFBI has an in-house resource center which enables various SPVs as well, right, with technology.
Exactly.
Yes.
KIFBI has, since the SPVs are taking time to absorb this technology and develop use the technology in a routine manner, we have taken the mandate of helping them through two different mechanisms: technical support units and technical resource unit. Okay. Technical support units are built inside the SPVs with the support of KIFBI, and technical resource center is working under KIFBI directly by providing various services. Like any service required from whether it is a modeling, or it is a survey, digital surveying, or it is use of any other modern equipments, testing equipment or anything, they can approach KIFBI. So being a funding organization, we are arranging all these facilities for the smooth functioning of the project. These are the improvements we have made in the public sector project execution system.
Okay, so that's a great way to go about it, sir. You're showing the way forward to all the SPVs, which is great. So talking to one other pillar of infrastructure projects, which are the design consultants, right? We have Ms. Anaya Bobe, and I would like to ask her a question from my side. As design consultants, Ms. Anaya, how are you leveraging digital tools and processes to improve productivity, project understanding, and how are you reducing turnaround time? Ms. Anaya.
Thank you for the question, Vivek. So before I move to the question, I would just like to give a brief introduction of TPF Engineering, which is my organization, and what role do I play in the firm. So TPF Engineering is a subsidiary of TPF SA, which is a Belgian-based multinational organization, and it is currently active in around 44 countries around the globe. TPF EPL is a legacy-oriented consultancy firm, and we basically specialize in design of all infrastructure projects, be it highways, railways, water projects, or even for the moment, the asset monetization projects, which we have like TOT or INVIT, or as Vijayata sir is saying, we also do provide those kind of services for maintenance of the assets and how to provide for remedial measures for such kind of projects. So that would be about my company. And to introduce myself, I am the general manager of the transportation department at EPL. So we basically work, my team is responsible for handling a wide variety of projects, ranging from, say, DPR to the authority engineer projects, where we are actually executing and reviewing the execution of the projects, moving on towards providing pre-tender services for the private clients as well. So in all, we basically handle almost all kinds of projects, and for both government as well as the private clients. So I mean, for us, implementation of BIM is looking at the way forward and looking at the future. Moving towards BIM is absolutely an essential requirement. And our parent company and our subsidiaries all over the country, also all over the globe, sorry, are also very much interested to get into this developing kind of like a technology which is coming up. So how do we implement, or how do we actually apply it to our ongoing projects? So for the detailed designing projects, or the projects where we are actually putting in our engineering services, and even for DPR projects for that matter, we use a wide variety of softwares or tools, as we call it. So for the highway projects, or the highway aspects that involve creation of the alignment or profile, and ultimately creating your plan and profile drawings, which are basically like the foundation of your entire project or your entire highway network. We use Civil 3D, which is an Autodesk tool, which mainly is used for design and documentation. And we also use InfraWorks. InfraWorks is basically like a conceptual software wherein you can showcase your project details and salient features in terms of the actual site condition. So it uses your satellite imagery, and with our projections or our proposals, which we superimpose onto the actual terrain, it gives the client or the person without maybe say a technical background also have a complete understanding of the project. So it is much easier to visualize and understand what issues we would face, or how to take it forward once we put it up for execution. And the Civil 3D, I would just like to maybe touch up on a few points which my team is actively involved in, and how that has helped my team members to improve our workflows over a period of time. One particular tool would be the sub-assembly composer. So how this affects our designing is basically, the sub-assembly composer is a tool where I can customize my cross-section. Every project has a specific requirement when it comes to cross sections, and it differs from project to project. So if I am able to customize and make specific models for each of my project, that improves my quality of output, and my model becomes more realistic and more true to the actual site conditions. So that sub-assembly composer has really helped to improve the quality of services or quality of output that we ultimately provide to the client. And another tool that we use is data shortcuts. This tool is more in terms of management and documentation. So initially the team used to face a lot of issues with the file size, which would become tremendous, because when I am implementing BIM, I am making my model very data rich. So I am putting in a lot of details, which ultimately affects my file size and makes the model very heavy. So my team used to put in a lot of efforts in making the model, and then even for a slight modification, it would spend, a team would end up spending much more time in trivial tasks of modifying the project details. So we found this tool called data shortcuts, wherein I can just apply, I can segregate my project components into different files in a way that I am not, making my model heavy, but at the same time, I am able to even modify those small elements that I've segregated, and they're ultimately linked to each other, which means that if I say edit one particular component or one particular element, it is linked to all other elements. Say I make a small change in my alignment, it gets reflected into my surface, it gets reflected into my profile creation, and accordingly, this, in the sense, my designing or my engineering output that I'm getting is much more.
Yeah, your voice is a little.
Yes, I'm sorry. Am I audible?
Yeah. I think is it with me or yeah, sure. Go
No,
ahead.
no, my net is a little bit poor. Sorry for that.
No problem. So to
Yes.
begin with, I think you are starting off with BIM models with concept design, and you're leveraging BIM, and also for design and production, you are leveraging the BIM models, which definitely
Right.
breaks the silos and brings in better understanding to the
Yes.
right?
So another point that I just would like to add, though, is, sorry if I'm going over the time, I'll just make that short. So we are also integrating the structural components and the
I think we're losing you a little bit there. Yeah, go ahead, please.
I think,
Yes.
Vivek, we can move on to Surya for a bit till Anaya figures her.
I think Anaya was trying to say is she's also implementing the structure, I mean, including the structural aspects into the road projects as well, which is great. So yeah, another company which needs no introduction, and also a man who's really bringing about a lot of digital transformation in that company is Mr. Suryakanta Kavi. Mr. Suryakanta, I have a question for you. My question to you would be, why, while going digital in construction, what are the challenges you face? Just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah, L&T is being one of the largest contractors in India. We are curious to know how you're driving digital transformation throughout the organization to speak with. Of course, that was my second question. And what are the latest tools and technologies you're adopting for current and upcoming projects?
Yeah, thank you, Vivek, and thank you entire team who's hosting this event. And also thank you, Akhilesh sir, for briefing about the NHI initiatives, and Vijay sir about the projects and BIM digital initiatives so far. And from the design side, probably, yeah, probably, what's her name?
Sorry?
Anaya.
Miss Anaya, yeah.
Yeah, Anaya. So about the digital initiatives for design, design and DPR kind of projects. So probably I'm not going to spend more time on about the L&T. So we all knows about the business verticals we have. We are into the bridges, iconic projects, highways, expressways, and all. So what my role is, myself Suryakant Kavi. I'm a design information management graduate since with the more than 18 years of experience in the industry. I contributing my knowledge with the industry, and about to continue as well with the project like smart cities, roads, highways, airports, and part of the residential and commercial building as well. But moreover, I'm into the transportation business right now with L&T, and I'm looking after the end-to-end solutions for the digital advancement processes, supported by many not only just design but many tools and technologies. And also, that is most importantly, we have to admit that compliant with the standards. So we know there are some certain challenges we have from the digital front about the standardization processes, but we already have a couple of standards within the organization itself. So we have to complement those standards and implement accordingly. Now, regards to the point which you said about the digital transformation and the latest tools and technologies we are adopting in the organization, and especially in the infrastructure front, highways and roads. See, basically we have to understand that we reach to the space exploration programs and sectors with less human interventions, right? But with the less with the trusted technologies and innovations as well. So there is a evidence, there is an evidence that technologies can play a crucial role in all the project aspects and all the verticals for sure. So it is quite convincing that digital innovations will help enhance the transparency, brings the objective heads of the decision making as well, and boost the operational efficiency and productivity. And that is where we are thinking upon across the industries for various outcomes like social outcomes, environmental outcomes as well, with the quality of course and safety. So in L&T, in infrastructure business, while using the technologies, we started thinking about how these technologies can help. So what we did was we created the roadmap, and considering those roadmap and the project phases, like so what happens in the EPC design and build projects, we have to do the survey, then the post survey, then the design and validation, then issued the drawing to the sites, and execution will happen like that. Then ultimately it's a handover. So considering those big amount of challenges, there would be a lot of technologies would involve for sure. So considering the project phases, like geospatial technologies helping us to do the mapping of the roads ROWs, identify the key risk areas, like for example the tree clearances or any existing infrastructure like underground utilities or existing ponds. So these are very social sensitive matters. So considering those aspects, geospatial technologies with the LiDARs and drones, IoT sensors, of course, it helps us to identify the risk, and we prioritize those risks in terms of the medium, high, and low. Then we mitigate the risk in terms of the submissions. So what it happens, like let's say I have the 50 kilometer of road, so I have to prioritize which streets can be built within the timeline and budget, and where are the risk areas which can be mitigated with the close coordination with the authorities. So this is where the geospatial and Internet of Things kind of technology works very well. And we see a lot of benefits as well, just not like the technologies. If you look at any drones and technologies, it limiting our resources to the sites, and COVID like scenarios, it's helping much. And whereas if you compare with the 10 resources versus one resources, so one person can automatically fly through this entire drone systems and get to know what are the challenges are, at least the above features. Underground, of course you have to go the deep penetration process, and that's a different kind of technology used in the project. Similarly, for design stage, considering the fact that what type of project it is and what type of technology is required to implement the BIM. So we have Autodesk, we have Bentley, we have Trimble. So we have 12D, which is the Australian companies basically offering the technology for the airport business. So these are the various playbooks we have in L&T itself, where we do decide what type of technologies will implement. Not just the technology to implement, also we have we think upon the workflows, seamless workflows, like for example design, then automated drawing production, automated quantification, and those quantifications, based on those quantification, how the costing will happen, and based on that costing, it helps us to bidding process, it helps to reconciliation process, it helps us to re-resourcing process at the project side as well. So these are the factors which, as a BIM manager, need to be seen in a projects very closely. And then our efforts to ensure the most of the sites digitally equipped, and we have mapped our all the assets and resources digitally. So how it happens, basically we created a lot of apps based technologies where we keep on monitoring our vehicles moving at site, our labors moving at site, and those are being tagged with the RFID systems as well. And we have the dashboard, though from that dashboard front, we do capture our productivity as well, and also that helps for the safety point, of course.
Absolutely.
So with the hope of that, we have the catalog for the ecosystem of vendors as well, and tagging all the vendors for the materials, so that the better manage our assets, and it stores anywhere and where. So at site, if you look at, we store a lot of materials, and we do use LiDARs and drone kind of technology to monitor the quantities at site, and also the analysis.
Okay.
So of course, this will allow us to allocate supplies between the different sites, manage inventory to cut down the resources wastage as well. We do also increasing our tools like IoT, LiDAR solutions across the projects. So presently we did a lot of since last 2 and 3 years, but now to extend across the business verticals as well.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Surya. In fact,
So
that was a great
maximizing our, can you hear me, Vivek?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, thanks. That was a great insight into how L&T is leveraging
Yeah.
technology for all its projects. And while we talk about technology, we cannot be far away from artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? So my next question would be to Akhilesh Srivastav, sir. Sir, globally, AI and ML is being increasingly used for delivering large-scale infrastructure projects. So do we have a similar uptake for these technologies in India?
Yeah, Vic, absolutely. See, if you see a construction sector as a whole, or the infrastructure, the adoption of technology is at the minimal. If all the sectors we consider, recently a study was done by McKinsey, and they found that just after agriculture, the from bottom is the construction sector, whereas finance sector, the automobiles, the manufacturing, they all adopted technology much ahead of us, and now they are using the AI and the many automated processes to reduce. For example, now a car can be made in 3 minutes rolling out of a factory, whereas our infrastructure projects, our houses are still taking 18 months to 20 months to construct. Where there are technology, I recently visited some of the countries where they constructed a 50-60 story building just within 20 days. On 21st day, it's rather 18 days only, and 20th day it was occupied by the users. So why don't we bring the technology, because it's an open field in the construction sector to bring it. And as our co-panelists were saying, they're sharing their own experience, how they are leveraging technology in their projects, in financing, the asset management, the 5D BIM. We are also, I mean, almost every organization is doing same thing, including NHI as well. But now, specific to how AI and ML is going to change. So, to run AI and ML, the first thing is we require huge set of data. And unfortunately, since we started late in the construction, adoption of technology in construction industry is a latecomer in comparison to others. So we do not have that volume of data to start training our machines to learn and then start predicting using the AI. But there are certain immediately usable applications are there for AI and ML. For example, in NHI data lake, if I can share, we are capturing the entire workflow, the entire project, everything is digitized. It's a NHI is, like we can say proudly, is the first government sector fully digital organization. There is no paperwork now. So these data, huge set of data is generating. So now what we have started doing is, we using the machine learning, it looks at the causes of delay. If a project is delayed, then how many such projects has been delayed? What has been the reason? And if those reasons, I mean, using very simplest kind of decision tree mechanism of machine learning or AI, the basic primitive type things, we started predicting, yeah, if project is going on similar lines, this is also likely to delay. And then these predictive alerts are being shared with the project stakeholders, the concessionaires, the contractors, the field officers. Second very good thing which is quickly doable with AI and ML in construction is the safety of the workers. Because recently we were monitoring a project using a drone flying live, and it was an inspection of a bridge. So the drone can be maneuvered to go below the bridge. Practically you cannot. Earlier people used to I mean, swing from a rope, then they go there. That's a very dangerous thing. So these things can be done. Road safety. Third very good immediately doable thing is the training to the workforce. With the people sitting using the digital technologies and the repetitive kind of thing, you can create models. So on a virtual world, the labor works, and then he understands immediately the failure, the pitfalls, and he can rectify. And lastly, the robotics. Once we start, the manpower problem is going to be the now perennial. With see, the first hit sector last year pandemic was the construction, because it's open, it's a more labor intensive. So to save the construction industry from the futuristic similar kind of thing, we have to optimize the resources. The dependency on fuel manpower has to come down. So the use of automation has to be there, and then ultimately the robotics. And these robotics using the AI, and they can be a great game changer. 3D printing, housing, the 3D repetitive kind of structures. These can be made, the prefabs can be made. And the beauty of all these things are what now people have started realizing is the ROI of induction technology in construction sector is very high. For example, say if you spend a few crore rupees only in automation and putting these latest AI ML technology in construction, the saving, the safety, the output efficiency you derive is at least 10 to 15 times higher than that. That's the biggest beauty of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. In fact, yeah, AI and ML definitely will bring you the returns once initially invested upon. And one other topic that's always close to me, and also which is the core aspect of KIFB's design ideas, is sustainability, right? Vijayda sir, you think there is a need to make infrastructure projects more sustainable, and KIFB believes in that strongly. And how is technology helping you attain sustainable project outcomes in Kerala?
In sustainability area, we have two initiatives. Basically, one is organizational. We have established an ESG cell, and KIFB has an ESG policy. So through which KIFB is planning to introduce all sustainability aspects in various projects from all economic, environmental, and social side. And this is more important that now KIFB has made a policy that KIFB is going to fund only projects those are fitting into the ESG framework which has been implemented by KIFB. That is one side. Second side is the technology side. Technology side is KIFB is identifying several technological improvements which can make both transportation and non-transportation sector projects environmentally sustainable. Like with regard to the buildings, we have made green building mandatory, and all the buildings which is more than 2,500 square feet should have a Griha 3-star rating. That is one thing. In road sector, we have identified almost 8 to 10 technologies. We have specifically KIFB has conceptualized with the help of IIT Chennai and IIT Palakkad, and we are moving ahead. KIFB is not in the execution. We have taken the initiative of implementing one entire road in full depth reclamation mode with the zero aggregate. Like entire aggregate, which is, as you know, Kerala has got plenty of roads, and Kerala has got plenty of good roads, which are now requiring rebuilding. So normally everybody go for the virgin aggregate, and it leads to several quarrying issues. As you know, Western Ghats are the highly sensitive ecological system, and most of the quarries are working in Western Ghats. That is damaging, and quarries are being banned. The projects are being stalled. All these things. To solve that issue, we have made a program of using the available aggregates in the road itself through a full depth reclamation technology. It has been very successful, and it is almost 30 months old. And now I have got a report that these roads which are built on full depth reclamation is performing much better than the other roads which are built on the same time. And CRRI also conducted. So that is one technology. Second thing is on slope stabilization. Kerala has got several hilly terrain, and a lot of cost is involved in building retaining walls. So all technologies relating to RE walls, soil nailing, geocells-based retaining earth technologies, everything is being experimented. And IIT Palakkad is supporting us in developing site-specific technological solution for building sustainable slope protection technologies. So several technologies have been promoted by KIFB. These two areas, we have both policy side, governance side, as well as on technology side. KIFB is actively involved in both technology and now with sustainability modeling, our team, BIM team, has taken it as an initiative to incorporate all the modeling in that.
Yes.
To BIM also.
Great to know, sir. In fact, that's really good to know that KIFB is leveraging educational and research institutions like IIT to attain sustainable project outcomes. That's great to know, sir. Thank you for your insights. One other aspect, there's another question for me to Ms. Anaya. From the asset management perspective, right? This is one of the key aspects and the longest phases of any infrastructure project. So, like, how are you leveraging latest technology to for the asset management phase of project lifecycle, Anaya?
Right. If to answer that question, the answer lies right in my background. So if you can see, I have put in like a few images of the latest equipment that we actually use on site to collect the asset management and relevant data. So these equipments that you see on my right are the network survey vehicle, which is the the rear view of the vehicle and the inside view of the vehicle. This basically is giving you the pavement condition and telling what is the exact distresses that have developed and how do we correct those distresses. That is the kind of study that we do internally. And this system is state of the art because it has a continuous line laser, which is a class 1 laser, which is giving you really high quality data. And it's integrating it with the GPS and the DMI, the distance measuring instrument that we have. And it's giving you a complete solution as to what measures we need to give. I'm sorry, just give me a minute.
No problem. So, can I move on to Surya for a quick, in the interest of time, we have a couple of minutes left. So I don't want to leave Surya Kanta without my last question, which is a very interesting.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So, so I was just saying that the network survey vehicle is giving you the pavement strength. The FWD, which is on my left side top corner, is giving you the structural strength of the pavement layer. So we are not just telling you what is the functional or the surface distresses, but we are also telling you in terms of the structural aspect as to the layer will be able to withstand the design traffic or not. And the bottommost that you see is the mobile bridge inspection unit, which is mainly for the structures. So as Akhilesh sir was rightly saying, initially like doing a condition survey of structures was a very difficult aspect and was dangerous and risky. But with this system, as you can see, the bucket that can go to any level below the system, it can check even the bearing condition, the superstructure condition. And our team is a skilled bridge engineer team, which basically does the survey. So our entire teams, which we employ on site for this asset management, have been trained specifically for these equipments. And our NSV is also laser, it has an automatic crack detection system as well, which is like an AI system. And it is automatically classifying, quantifying what type of cracks it is, how much area of the pavement surface is distressed, and what remedial measures to be taken are then decided and accordingly put up to the client. So ultimately, if we look at the equipments that we are utilizing, this is the way forward. And I mean, this would be a more effective way to take further action and to plan for future, remedial measures for maintaining our assets to the most best standards and international standards, to put it.
Thanks, Anaya. In fact, it's really good to know. And that background also gives us an idea of what all equipment you're using. It's great to know. And Surya, while going digital in construction, what are the challenges you face and how are you overcoming them? Is there an academy that's helping you ramp up your skill sets for digital construction, and how does it go? Are you muted, Surya?
Yes. So of course, answer to the questions is yes. So if there is a no challenge, then there is a no outcome for sure. So considering the fact that we started our innovations in 2018, the thought process from the management was to let's leverage our technology across the business. And with the help of IoT sensors and your academic front as well, and also the robotics side. So if you look at, so considering those aspects, we identified the risk, what it could be. So initial concern was the investment front from the technology perspective. What would be the cost of these technologies, whether it would be truly worth investing it, or what would be the return of investment, and how team would embrace to such kind of initiatives. So those are the challenges we had. So considering the fact that we had set up a couple of academies in L&T across the L&T itself. So one we have the Chennai, one we have in Powai, Mumbai. So we offering a lot of courses related to the digital advancement, either BIM or either GIS or either AI as well, some that front. So considering those things, we see a lot of drawbacks as well and disadvantage, but still there is a chance of overcome with the challenges. And from that aspects, we helped our people at site to use the digital technology for the various aspects, from the coordination, from the automation at the site for paving works. So we have now, you will be surprised that we have the pavers, we have the graders, which drastically reduced our overrun times as well. So yeah, so this is what broadly we considering the challenges slowly, and over the period of time we are implementing and changing our processes as well.
Sure. Okay, thanks, Suryakanta. In fact, is COVID impacting the way you're constructing, you're executing projects on site? How is digitization helping you there as well?
Yeah, so certainly we use for the drones, we do a lot of survey and inspection method processes, and we do a lot of coordination using there is a collaboration technology called uh, MS Team, as well as we have like BIM 360 from the Autodesk offerings, and we also have the project wise for the coordination front. So these are the technologies are in place within the L&T itself. From the design coordination front, we use those technologies. From the site coordination perspective, we do use MS Team, and also the technology front, we do use a lot of Trimble product with the GPS enabled systems, which basically get installed at site, where do automated works, paving works at site level, which basically reduce the risk at site during this COVID period.
Yeah, thanks, Surya. I think now we can open the board to audience questions. I have one question coming in from Abhi Shankar Parashar. I think this will be this can be answered by Akhilesh sir. Will there be revival of BOT mode of financing the highway projects in future? Akhilesh sir? Will there be revival of BOT mode of financing the highway projects in future?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be, because one of the major bottleneck in the BOT projects recently had been the unpredictability about the traffic calculation. So what is going to be traffic on the highway on which a concessionaire is spending money, and what will be the potential to realize that money in collection of toll and all. So fortunately, these two bottlenecks has been very well addressed very recently. We implemented the fast track program. I was spearheading this program. Now fast track is implemented on all national highway toll plazas, more than 735, and the fast track penetration is above 95%. So the money which is being collected is digital. It's directly reaching to the account, so that certainty is there. And as of now, you can we are collecting 105 crore per day. I mean, of course, this second wave of COVID has hit it back now, but normal time it was around 105, 106 crore per day. So 40,000 crore is a yearly projections. So this is now visible to everyone. It's available online. That predictability is there. Similarly, for traffic calculation, there are so many models has been developed. That predictability. So BOT, I see there is a good chance of revival, because the main issues which were hurdling it has gone. Now government is also, banks are also financing in a financing mode to these projects. So I'm sure it will revive very soon.
Sure, sir. Thanks for that. And amongst the panelists, can we field a couple of questions in the interest of time? I think we have just about 5 minutes left. While we get answers from the audience, is there any questions that you need to ask your co-panelists? You'd be interested. Any closing comments?
Vivek, I will just like to add one word as a closing thing. See, infrastructure boom is going to come. That's the undeniable fact. everybody has now realized the potential of infrastructure, which was somehow was on a backseat till a few years back. Now it's coming up forefront globally and very more focused way in India. So there's one good thing about this. Second is the ROI of investing technology into construction sector has also been witnessed. All my co-panelists, they're all L&T using technology very aggressively, and they can see the how much saving it is going to bring them. Your ROI is more than 10 times. Our friend Vijay Das, he is using 5D BIM for the financing now. You're creating a digital twin to monitor the progress and the time cost overruns, getting the alert timely. So, and similarly, Anaya, see got a lot of equipment IoT based, which are bring. So these industry leaders and the people, everybody has now realized the potential of investing in technology in construction sector. So these two put together, I'm sure there is a very bright future, and more technology should come, and programs like this seminars and all which you are organizing, you people are another leaders who spread these things. The people who do not know how technology is changing, these talks, these seminar discussions, they also become aware of all these things. So please continue doing this work, bring the people more and more, tell them how technology can help you and reduce your cost, reduce the time, and how beneficial it should be.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of today's roundtable. And I would like to thank all the panelists for their valuable insights, and of course the audience for being part of today's session. Please do fill out the post-session survey. Stay home and stay safe, all of you.